Cool. I don't know how many entry levels do that, to be honest with you. No, one. Grand Design.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Today's episode of the RV Voice is brought to you by BishFix. Ever been stuck with an RV issue miles from the nearest service center? With BishFix, expert help is just a video call away, saving you time, money, and keeping you on the road. Try BishFix risk-free with a 14-day free trial and use promo code RVVoice at checkout to get 60% off the full retail price. Welcome to another episode of the RV Voice, and today we're joined by Grand Design's regional sales manager for Grand Design Transcend Explore, and Transcend One. I didn't know these were all three things, so I'm excited to learn about this. Brandon Pummel is his name. And I want to know a little bit about you. Brag about yourself. Tell us about your RV history, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. First podcast here, guys. So hang in there with me. I have a face for radio. I don't know if I have a voice for radio, but yeah, I'm not terrific at the skill of bragging about myself. But grew up in the industry. I grew up in the area. So when you're from Northern Indiana, from the area I'm from, you either do agriculture, you know how to grow really good sweet corn, or you do RVs. So whether it's on the vendor side or the manufacturing side, it's what we do. So grew up in the area, started out in the industry when I was 15 at KZRV over there in Shipshewana in their parts and service department. I won't bore you with the ins and outs of everywhere I've been. At one point I did get out and I bartended for a little bit, and those 3 a.m. bartending nights got old pretty quick. So, at some point you realize, hey, this is what you know. This is what you're good at. This is where you're from. And so I got back into the industry maybe at the ripe age of 21, 22. And I've been here at Grand Design for the last year. I've been trying to bang down on their door for the last 12, 13 years trying to get in here. And I jokingly say somehow they decided that I was finally fit to join. So yeah, I'm going on about a year here at Grand Design, regional sales manager for the Mountain Central States. And sorry if I'm looking kind of weird. I'm not great with technology, so I got a phone going over here. I got screens up all over the place. So I don't want it to seem like I'm being rude by I'm looking at the top right hand corner of something. So that's a little bit about myself, man. This is all I know. So I don't act like I'm more than what I am. I know RVs, and again, I know a good ear of sweet corn. So that's about where my knowledge starts and stops.
And you can mix a cocktail.
And yeah. Ain't
nothing wrong with that. I used to do the same.
Yeah, I can mix a cocktail.
State, buddy.
Mostly just a good old fashioned. That's about that's the specialty. So.
Well, that ain't all bad. Can you do a Manhattan as well?
I don't, to be honest with you, I don't even know the ingredients of a Manhattan off the top, but I could Google it real fast and probably do a decent one.
I think it's just cherries is the difference.
Is it? Yeah.
I think so. They're really close.
Is there a sweetener in there anywhere? Bitters?
I don't remember if there's bitters or anything. But either way, we're here to talk about RVs. So let's jump into Grand Design Transcend. Apparently there's 3 lines within that. And Brandon, I'm going to let you take the show.
I missed the last, 10, 15 seconds. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's hop into it.
Yeah. So we'll get into Transcend a little bit. And we'll just be specific with Transcend today. I think we talked about maybe doing an Imagine one here in a little bit. But, when it comes to Grand Design, this company really started out not only as a customer service company, a back-end RV manufacturer, but it really started out as a fifth wheel company, not so much a travel trailer company. Our flagship brand was Solitude. We then got into fifth wheel toy haulers with Momentum and obviously Reflection. And, these are what we would call segments. And, as we get into segments, we're also going to get into some sub-segments as well. So every segment isn't black and white, right? There's different areas, whether it be single axle, dual axle, different price points, things of that nature. Imagine it has really taken off as a travel trailer for our company. Has had turned into the #1 laminated travel trailer in the market, and we're really proud of that. And as we got into Transcend, we were always just a higher quality when it came to Transcend, an entry-level buyer, a higher quality, higher featured product line. And we just recently made probably one of the best hires we've made in a long time with Matt Eppers. He came from a different company, but specialized in the entry-level segment, and And one of the first things he really was able to dial in on was hey, we're trying to fit a hexagon into a circle, right? And we really need to get organized with the brand, sub-segment it out. We never had a Transcend One, which is going to be our single axle sub-segment that we're getting into. Explore line, Transcend. It was always just a really big, beautiful, full featured coach. Not that Explore and One aren't going to be beautiful, but every buyer isn't looking for every single bell and whistle. That's just the reality of it. Some people are looking for more of a payment, and they're just going to go camping, right? So they don't need all the fancy things, glamping as we call it, right? So realizing that in the market, we've never been a traditional first-time buyer company. And I don't want to say that we've never sold an RV to a first-time buyer, but that really wasn't our shtick per se. We would be the company that someone would come to after maybe they bought brand X, Y, or Z, maybe had a poor experience with it, did a little bit more research this time, got on some forums, talked to maybe some people at the campground who own Grand Design. Our customers tend to be our best salespeople, which is really awesome. One of our slogans is customers for life. And so we would normally be a second time buyer, right? Because they'd have a bad experience. And then they'd come over to the Grand Design family. So, yeah, that was kind of the where Grand Design came from as a company, as a brand, and getting into Transcend One, and we'll get into a little bit more. Go through some slides here. We're going to be sub-segmented into basically three categories. Not to make it too muddy. Don't we're big believers in the knowledge behind consumers and consumer knowledge. So Transcend One, pretty cut and dry, right? One axle, single axle. And as we get into that, and some of the brand story behind it, the idea around Transcend One, why are we coming out with Transcend One, is we want to capture that first time buyer. We want to get them into the Grand Design family because we believe that the experience in buying a Grand Design is the best out there, bar none, hands down. So we want to get them into the family. And again, we're customers for life. So we believe if we can capture that first time buyer, we can also keep them in the Grand Design family when they want to transition up to maybe a laminate product or maybe a fifth wheel, or maybe they get into some off-road outdoor activities and side-by-sides or whatever, motorcycles, get them into a toy hauler. So yeah. Also, golden threads. We talk about golden threads a lot at Grand Design. A golden thread for Grand Design is basically anything that we do throughout all the brands. It's an idea, it's a concept, it's something that we continue through all the brands of products, whether it's a Transcend, whether it's a Solitude, right? It continues through all those segments. And so golden threads for Transcend are in this, the same thing, right? They're going to continue through all the brands, whether it's One, Explore, or Standard Transcend. So just real quick to touch on some of those, every single Transcend that we put out into the market will have an interior and exterior branded table. So it'll have the Grand Design branding in it. We'll have storage inside the unit for that table, dedicated storage. I hate to use the word beer pong table, but for lack of better terms, it's kind of like a beer pong table. We're going to get back to doing some of those pet-friendly features, those furry-friendly features when it comes to dog bowl dishes and leash holders. Our leash holder will also second as a bottle opener as well on the outside. We're going to move into kind of a more mainstay entertainment system. JBL is the leader in sound entertainment when it comes to speakers and audio systems and things like that. So we're going to move to a JBL audio system in all of our Transcend products. Magnetic door latches versus the old school Bulldog leashes. You'll see inside of the Transcend product. Bulldog leashes have been a mainstay in the industry forever, right? We just think the magnetic ones are a little bit higher quality than the Bulldogs. Every single Transcend we build will have solar connectivity prep, right? And some segments, actually every segment it will be an option for that solar. But when it comes to like standard Transcend, which will be our higher end, full feature Transcend product, that will be a standard. Solar will be, but in the Explorer and the One Series, it is going to be an option. But even if you don't need it right off the bat, so if you're in that buying process, you're not sure whether you're actually going to need solar or not, we don't want you to have to pay for it, right? So we're going to prep everything for panel, controller, and inverter. So if one day down the road you do want to get solar, you're ready to go for it.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah,
That's
one of the
quite a
major,
bit.
yeah, one of the actual golden threads for our entire company was balancing beads within the tire. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an expert, not exactly sure how they work. I believe that once the inertia and the wheel starts going, that they find kind of the area they need to go to add a little bit more weight and balance the tire out. It's going to improve your fuel economy. It's going to reduce tire temperature in the air and tire wear. So hopefully less blowouts down the road. That's the idea.
Mhm.
Um, Also, bedroom nooks in all of our products when it comes to Transcend. So you have room for CPAP. That's a big thing, as well as electronics and books and things of that nature. So just a little bit of background story on Transcend and the brand story. You know, I think in quotes there it says, "Let's make the customer's first camping experience a grand design experience. If we can get the first purchase, we'll get the rest of them." So
Yeah.
that's the idea.
The Grand Designs do look pretty. Very much like them. They're very modern feel inside. I really like them. Every time I walk into them, I'm like, man, I wish we sold these. Well, we do.
Yeah.
But when I was in Lincoln as a salesman, I didn't have these. So you walk in, I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you want to buy this? Luckily, we had Winnebago, which was similar, but it wasn't Grand Design name. So
Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to brown nose here, but I'm pretty blessed with some of the best product managers in the industry. So their sole reason for being here is product, product, product. You don't get that at every manufacturer. So that's all they do all day. 24/7 is product, and they seem to put out some pretty amazing stuff that I'm privileged enough to get to be able to represent with our dealers as well as at shows and things like that. So I take zero credit. I just get to talk about it. Moving into Transcend One, and I don't want to get too much. I know we only run a short amount of time. We'll touch on a few floor plans. Obviously, we're going to have a full smorgasbord of floor plans when it comes to these, right? And so I don't want anyone to think that just because I'm touching on two floor plans in each subsegment that that's all we're going to have. We're going to have a huge variety of floor plans, anything you can pick from. But just for today and being kind of on short time, we'll just hit on a few. So Transcend One. You know, the brand story or the sub-segment story is really a price-leading and lightweight travel trailer built with the same features and materials as the industry-leading tandem axle Transcend. So we're really not changing anything when it comes to construction when we get down into the Transcend One. We are still a fully heated and enclosed underbelly. We are still the only, and that I know of. I don't want to, I want to speak candidly, but there could be something out there I'm not aware of that uses like a thermofoil reflective insulation in the roof and the front cap. Right. I mean, that's huge when it comes to this product line because no one else is doing that in this price point. So all of those quality features, we didn't want to strip it of any of that, right? I mean, we wanted to get down to a more price-friendly unit for our consumer, but we didn't want to take any of the quality away from what Transcend has been known for. So that's the idea. A few things that we'll touch on just real quick on the Transcend One that makes us a little bit different than some of our competition out there. We're a 60/80 true queen bed, recessed ceiling lights inside of your roof. Obviously, a lot of hidden and hinged internal storage inside of the unit. Nooks are going to be inside of each floor plan. We're using a roof mounted AC inside of Transcend One, where a lot of our competition you'll see a side mounted AC. Heated and enclosed underbellies. That's a really big thing in this segment. Not only
nice.
are they heated and enclosed, they're actually a true heated underbelly in there. So we run ductwork down into the underbelly to keep that underbelly warm on some of the colder nights. And we're a true 8 foot wide travel trailer. So a lot of different brands in this subsegment are going to be 7.5. We're going to be a true 8 wide travel trailer. We believe in the space that it offers you inside the unit on rainy days or days where it's just not beneficial to be outside. So
That's awesome. Real quick, just to kind of set some points on me, 60 by 80 true queen bed is huge. I'm 6'2", so the 60 by 74 does not work very well. I have to sleep sideways sometimes or at an angle. And then the heated and enclosed underbelly with forced air, big plus. The 8 foot wide is also a big plus because that extra foot gives you a lot of square footage. So awesome on the Transcend One.
Yeah, and
Ooh, look at
everyone's
that little thumbs up.
fourth season is different, right? People talk about four seasons a lot in this industry, and I'm not going to touch on it too much here of that loose term that's used in the industry a lot. But obviously, one of the major components to calling yourself a four seasons is to have a heated and enclosed underbelly. And yeah, I mean, we talk about four seasons, but really what we like to talk about is being a full time unit. All of our units are warranted and built for full time living, so that's one of the major things. When it comes to four seasons, there's just different environments, right? Different wind chills that get underneath that underbelly. Where, are you going up to northern BC in January, or are you going to be a snowbird and head down to Arizona, right? So it's just different applications, mean that you got to take different precautions and different steps. So, but it's nice to be one of the few manufacturers out there that are able to promote that we are warranted for full time living. So.
Even the Transcend One.
Yes, sir. Yep, all the way up. Same
Wow.
warranties on Transcend as we have on Solitude. So that's really cool. I mean, obviously it was discussed, but it's one of those things you start muddying the water and getting too disorganized. It's just keep it uniform and keep it square, and it's really easy to remember. So, yep.
Very cool.
Yes, sir. And we'll get into a few floor plans that were introduced. When it comes to Transcend One, we're not going to try to be too cutesy. We're going to build, kind of the mainstay, meat of the market industry floor plans. We're just going to build them better. So 151 BH, again, a non-slide bunkhouse, 28 by 67 bunks in there, 60/80 queen. Yeah, nothing too different or cutesy or crazy from what you see out there in the market. It's just going to be a better built, better warranted product. So better resale values as well. I mean, that's something that we've really talked about recently. We're going to be the only manufacturer that offers manufacturer transferable warranties. So when it comes to resale, we are 100% going to have a higher resale than some of our competition. So non-slide bunkhouse, non-slide rear bath, right? Let's not get too crazy here. Let's just build the meat of the market floor plans. Let's build them better. Moving into next year, you will see some additions to this line, but as of right now, I think we just talk about, what's available out in the market currently. So
that's awesome with the Murphy bed right there. That thing's like perfect for a small couple.
yes, sir. Everything under 20 foot, everything will have a GVWR of 5,000 pounds.
Awesome.
Because you see some products where their cargo carrying capacities are like 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds. So, yeah, each one will be a little bit different, not to get into too specifics, but
Yep.
GVWRs of 5,000. Touch on Explore here quick, if I'm on the right screen. So Explore series, what we wanted to do with that is deliver a dual axle travel trailer that kind of hits in between what a single axle is and what our full featured Transcend will be. So we wanted to just bring in a price leader, something again where people and consumers don't necessarily need every single bell and whistle. They just want to get out and go camping. Having said that, it's just as quality of a build as what standard Transcend is. There's just a few things that that we're gonna I don't want to say dummy down or decontent's about that word, but just less features than what you'll see in the standard Transcend. If you want a full featured unit, Transcend is definitely the way to go. First time buyers, things like that, not sure whether they're necessarily going to be full-fledged RVers and just want to get outside and go camping and create some memories. They may be more geared towards the Explorer line. So we're still going to do some of those things like pull out trash can, dedicated pot and pan drawer, still 60/80 true queen. Tough to touch on that enough. The ability to go out, buy sheets from for a true 60/80 queen bed and not have to mess around with them. Our hanging spaces, that actually I love this idea from our product manager. Our bedroom wardrobes and hanging spaces, instead of doing half shelves and half hanging where you kind of have to pick which one you want, we're going to do hanging on the left and we're going to do shelving on the right, so you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Very nice.
Yeah, back to residential recessed ceiling lights. They really have a good sexy look to them. And paper towel holders, some of those little trinkets that people might not think about are important. Yeah, we wanted to add some of that stuff in. So
quick question on the interior bedroom hanging. Is that like each side has a hanging folding, or is it
so
separate?
your left is going to be dedicated for hanging, and then your right is going to be dedicated for shelving.
Okay, so two separate then. Each
Yes,
side
sir.
is different. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I've seen that both. I've seen it where it's like a split down the one side, where they have like shelves and the hanging. That's
Right.
very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a great idea. Something I didn't think about. So again, not to we're not going to go through every single floor plan that'll be offered in the Explore line, but just to go through a couple. A 221 RB, really good, kind of a staple rear bath floor plan. Imagine made it really popular with the 2600. This is a little bit smaller than what a 2600 would be size wise, a little bit smaller slide out. But yeah, Imagine brought that 2600 to market with that rear bath, and it's been a staple rear bath couples coach floor plan in the industry since. Oh, I'm clicking on a bunch of stuff here. 26 BHX, double over, double bunk, single slide out. So again, just a really meat of the market staple floor plan in the industry. We do it a little bit differently than what you'll see a lot of manufacturers do it. With this kind of this breakfast nook here with the sink is a little different. Every manufacturer kind of builds the same double over double everyday floor plan. Changing it up a little bit adds a little bit of a fresh taste to what a single slide double over double bunk would traditionally be.
It almost looks like it frees up some room, though. I really like that.
Yeah, it's good open space there. TV's right across from your sitting area. That's a check mark, right? Window in the campsite, check. Countertop space there with that breakfast nook, check. I'm checking a lot of boxes. So
what's the bunks dimensions on that?
I don't have those on the top of my head. 5478 roundabouts.
Okay.
I don't have those bunk dimensions right on the top of my head. So yeah.
I was asked that, so I was looking for that.
Yeah, everyone always wants to. I wish we would put the dimensions on every single bunk. So we probably will have that on the brochures come next year. 26 BHX. Again, those are just 2, 3. Oh, we didn't touch on the 24. So non-slide bunkhouse, right? This is another mainstay where some customers, whether they've had a bad experience with slide outs in the past, they're like, I don't want anything to do with slide outs. Slide outs are just one more thing to go wrong, And again, it's a different twist on what a non-slide bunkhouse has to be. In fact, I remember when I was interviewing with Grand Design, this is everyone builds the same non-slide bunkhouse. It's the same thing over and over and over. And I was like, it's really refreshing. Again, a guy who's been in the industry my whole life and seen the copy paste of what this industry can become. Super refreshing sometimes to see a manufacturer that's willing to take a little bit of risks and take a staple floor plan like a non-slide double over double bunk and add a little twist to it. Again, there's only so much you can do with a 20-some foot box. But taking some time on it, actually putting some thought into a floor plan and just saying, you know what, these guys sell a bunch of those. Let's build that, right?
Yeah. And I really like this floor. I mean, you got the 69-inch sleeper sofa there, so you can still sleep more people. You got the dinette as well. You got the double bunks. You can sleep a lot of people in here, and camping's supposed to be outside. But also to add to the Transcend Explorer, like this has just not bells and whistles like fancy knickknacks and all that. This is the bare necessities for the most part, and it still works. I mean, if I were to buy something, this is the segment I'd be looking at.
Yeah, you're talking MSRPs under 30,000, right? Give or take.
Absolutely.
And again, I can't touch on this enough, but whether it's a Transcend, whether it's an Imagine, whether it's a Reflection, a Momentum, a Serra Nova, a Solitude, an Influence, I mean, you're talking the same warranties across the board. And I don't think we've touched on warranties yet, but probably a good point to touch on some of the new warranties that Grand Design has. So we are 1 year bumper to bumper, everything included. 3 years structural. So anything that would be craftsmanship on our part would be included inside of the 3 year structural. And we just moved to a 5-year warranty on our frame, on our axles, decals, or decals if you're up in Canada. I do covers in Canada, so I gotta touch on the decals. And tires as well. So you're getting a 5, and every single warranty that we do is a transferable warranty, and that's awesome. It's the first time in the RV industry that manufacturers have offered a transferable warranty, and we're really excited as reps because it's a huge selling point. And I think dealer partners are really excited about it too. It's not only great for new sales, right, but for used as well. So
very much so. Very cool.
Hello, listener. I would like to take a second to thank you for listening, and we appreciate all the love and support that you've given us as we've grown the RV Voice. If you have not yet, please hit that follow or subscribe button, and please tell your friends about us. Also, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear any feedback or suggestions that you may have. Now, back to the show.
I'd have been pitching that real hard if I was selling this.
Yeah, you got to touch on it, you know. So Transcend, when it comes to Transcend, this is really our full featured product line. You'll see our floor plans get a little bit bigger, and I've kind of been using it's not black and white, right? There is a little bit of gray area, but basically any unit that would be 30 foot or over in total length is probably going to be a standard Transcend. Anything dual axle 30 foot and under is probably going to land you in Explore. Again, it's not black and white. There will be a little bit of bleed over each way. But for the most part, that's a good way to just think about it. And so these are a little bit more full featured, a little bit more size to them, may need a little bit more truck to tow them, depending on the floor plan. But this is our full featured product line. So on Transcend, again, pull out trash can storage is going to be a thing on Transcend and Explore. Here we're going to have strip lighting on all of our seams on our roof. So that strip lighting is going to be dimmable, and on a switch, it's a little fancier than the puck lights. More Ride safety rail is a new addition that Matt has put into the product for 2025. So the nice safety rail instead of the grab handle. Paper towel holders. In the Transcend, you're going to get porcelain toilets. You're going to get standard TVs and brackets. You're going to get standard solar. Things of that nature. Same construction, right? We're still Mylar tape for your base on any of your seals, which, to touch on Mylar tape, tested from -60 to 220 degrees for expansion and contraction. I don't want to get into a huge sales pitch here, but compared to the normal industry butyl tape that you see zoom out of the edges and things like that, it's a great foundation line as a sealant for our RVs. We use Mylar tape across the board. It's a golden thread. We love it. Bedroom laundry chutes are going to be added into all the Transcend products. We're really making a huge push this year for camp kitchens, not only on bunkhouses. And the normal show you go to, every camp kitchen you see is basically your detector for that's a bunkhouse or a couples coach, right? Because the easiest place to put an outside kitchen is underneath the lower bunk. We are going to do our very best to find areas to put outside kitchens, whether it's a bunkhouse or whether it's a couples coach. So you'll see a lot of outside kitchens come into the Transcend line. Matt's doing a really good job of kind of playing Tetris, is the way I call it. You look at a floor plan, you kind of play Tetris with it. So he's doing a good job at playing Tetris and finding spaces where we can do outside kitchens. Again, not only on bunks, but on our couples coaches as well, because consumers have been asking for it. And it's just most of the time the easiest place to put it is on a bunkhouse.
Absolutely. And I think Grand Design is going to be able to do that, because I was at open house last year and I walked into the XLS line, and there was floor plans I've never seen before that were incredible. I mean, they were 18-foot trailers and I could live in the dang thing. It's amazing. It's like, holy crap. Got so much space, so much room for activities.
Yeah. What Eric Landis, I call him the mad scientist, but what Eric Landis does with a 16, 15-foot box is extraordinary, because someone would give you 15 feet of box and say, okay, you have to have a bathroom, you have to have a bed, you have to have a kitchen, you have to sink. These are things that these are the 5 requirements you have to put inside this 15-foot box. And they'd be like, well, there's only 3 ways you can really do it, dude. And he delivers time and time again when it comes to some of those floor plans. And you're just like, how'd you do it, man? Where'd it come from? How'd you do it? He is a stud. He's an absolute stud. Again, I'm blessed with some of the best product managers in the industry. So they make my job easy. They'll probably never see this video, so I'm not brown nosing. They'll probably never see it. Moving on a little bit, just to touch on a few other features for the standard Transcend. We move up to a .030 thickness in the metal. It's also a Greyhound metal. I challenge you to touch the outside of walls when it comes to a wood-framed, aluminum-skinned travel trailer. I promise you, there is no wood-framed, aluminum-skinned travel trailer that has the structure that a Transcend has. That .30 Greyhound metal does make a big difference on our exterior. Again, this is standard solar, right? So you're getting 200 watts of solar, you're getting a 30 amp charge controller, and we're going to prep you for a 2,000 watt inverter as well. Also, all of our outlets are hot. We don't pick one outlet to wire for the inverter in the bedroom and one outlet to wire in the living room. We wire everything besides your AC because the AC is going to take a little bit more juice to run that thing. It's, you're starting to talk. I don't want to talk about aftermarket, solar equipment that's going to power an AC. But from my understanding, $25,000 is what's going to get you about, 4 to 5 hours of AC usage in the field. We talked about trying to implement more standard camp kitchens in our floor plans. This gets into a little bit of the 3-burner stovetop. We do move to a convection microwave in the standard Transcend. We're going to move you to a 60K tankless hot water heater. Again, JBL audio system is going to be there. TV standard, porcelain toilets. Salad steps are standard from, it mentions it here for Transcend, but from 1 to Explore to standard Transcend, you're going to get salad steps. More ride safety rail. 10.7. We're doing the French door Furrion fridge. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but it's got just a really sexy look to it. And it's a little bit more residential with the French door. So that's going to be a nice addition to most of our product lines at Grand Design. 15K AC standard. Most of the time, you're going to be 50 amp on the standard Transcend. And obviously, when we run 50 amp, we also prep for a second. One of our options is a second. We're really optionless here. We don't get too muddy or dirty when it comes to options. I worked for a few manufacturers where you look at their build sheet and it was like, woof. Oh my gosh, man. Woof. So really, besides a few places on floor plans where you can switch out some furniture and a second AC, that's about as optional as we get. Skylights, vent fans, shower door shade, sliding shower door shade. We do have a really sexy rim package on the Transcend for 2025s. We couldn't decide if we wanted to black it out because it was a little bit too much, and then chrome just really isn't in right now, right? It's not the thing, and so we kind of went with a combo of both, and it looks really sexy. So we'll have aluminum rims. Yeah, that's about it. Any questions on standard Transcend?
You said 50 amp. Is that all of them are wired for 50 amp in second AC?
I can't confirm. I know it's like 90% of them. Okay. Yeah, that we moved to just running a standard 50 amp service on it. I can't. The only one that's in my mind right now is the one we're going to talk about next, the 245 RLT. I'm almost positive we moved the 265 BH to a 50 amp service, but yeah, call your local sales guy who will call me, and I'll have the answer by the time he calls me. So,
or we just put it in here.
Or yeah, we'll just throw it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have all the answers. I always tell customers it shows 98.5% of answers I should have. The other 1.5, I'm gonna have to get back with you.
Yeah, we can do that.
245 RLT. Again, this is going to be a full encompassing product line with a lot of different floor plans. We're going to have big bunkhouses. I did hear, I don't know if I should say it or not, like a double queen option, some rear kitchens. We're going to have a lot of different floor plans coming to the Transcend line, but just wanted to touch on a few while we're here today. A rear living, really good couples coach floor plan, dual entry, solid steps on both. Yeah, great little couples coach.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this will be the smallest current standard Transcend floor plan. And then we move up to the staple in the 265 BHT, which has been a staple in the Transcend line. I think they're going to add an outside kitchen to the back side of it to give you again, we're trying to add outside kitchens everywhere we can. But yeah, 265 has been a great floor plan for us. Again, another dual entry where you can put the kids to sleep and not have to walk through a door to wake them up in the middle of the night if you're still hanging out outside by the fire. So nice second entry there into the bedroom.
This is one of my favorite floor plans ever. You walk in and you got the bunks in the back. I mean, as a kid, it's like a toy room, there in the back. You can climb all over things, jump off the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, it just works. It just works.
Yeah, very cool.
I think that's my dog and pony show, man. That's it. That's what I got for today.
Awesome. Real quick on this one, is it aluminum steps or more ride steps on here as well?
These are solid steps.
Okay, you said everything has solid steps. sorry, you said everything has solid steps from One, Explore to Transcend as well.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. That is killer. That is a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a couple questions. I hopped on YouTube, went through a lot of Transcends, looked at comments and stuff like that. I also did like a full search just on my own, trying to find some things. And you answered a couple of them. So let's see what else we got. So you went through the differences between Transcends from the One, Explore to Transcend. So we got that, covered that one. That's a good one.
Surface level, right? Surface level.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of layover. You said it kind of mixes across, but that's all right. One of them was the exact dimensions of the bunks. So we'll get that. You can send it to me afterwards. I'll drop it in here. I saw the one for the single bunks. Are the single bunks going to be same across the lines? The single whites?
In the non-slide, yes.
Okay. Perfect.
For
We'll
the
dump them in there.
Transcend One, we're only building that one bunkhouse, so yes.
Okay, perfect.
With a non-slide out.
And top searches, you covered that one. The warranty, same across from Transcend One all the way up to Grand Design Solitude and on, which is awesome. The 135. If you haven't heard about that, Dustin Greatrick did a good one on our Grand Design Reflection. He kind of walked through the whole warranty page that recently came out from you guys. So that was really great if you want to look at that.
Dude, how smart is that guy?
Huh?
How smart is that guy?
Well, he's been there for a while.
He is. I listened to some of his trainings at dealerships. So I got the opportunity to travel with him a few weeks ago. And I was taken aback by his level of detail that he uses in his trainings when it comes to product. Like, ask him about the balancing beads and tires, and you'll be like, oh, that Brandon guy knows absolutely nothing. Like, Dustin is the go-to for product. He is just, and he's so detailed and defined with it. Like, he's just very, very smart guy, very intelligent guy, ton of information.
Absolutely. Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. But he's been there for 10, 12 years.
Been here for a while. Yeah.
One of the OGs almost.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna make sure here. We did cover the 4-season camping. So 4-season guys, let's just hit that real quick. Brandon, you know this, but let's double hit on that. 4-season. This is heated and enclosed underbellies on all lines of the Transcend, which is an amazing, amazing thing to have. That means you extend your camping season if you're in the northern states. So when I say northern states, north of Kansas across. I mean, it gets cold. If it gets under 0 degrees and wind chill, I wouldn't have water in it personally. But if we was in Texas, we'd probably be all right. But it does happen. I have family and friends in Texas that do so. So would you agree to that, what I kind of said?
Yeah, I think that, everyone's situation is different. Everyone's use for their camper is a little bit different. When it comes to temperatures that get below freezing, you need to really start thinking about taking some different protocols to make sure that you're not going to have any issues. Not saying, we are one of the best insulated campers out there. All of our dump valves, which dump valves tend to be the first place that it freezes up, right? And it moves up into the unit. All of our dump valves are up inside your underbelly where it's heated and enclosed. But wind chill is a hard factor. You can go and test a unit inside of a plant and take the temperature of that plant down to 0 degrees and test it out. It still isn't the same as getting it out into Great Falls, Montana in January, where the wind chill is getting to -25, -30, maybe even without the wind chill, is getting to -25, -30. Those are hard factors to replicate inside of a controlled environment. And so, again, you can put whatever sticker you want on the outside of the unit. We're really big on knowledge within consumers, and anytime we have people who full-time in Montana, 100%, but they take the necessary steps and protocols in order to make sure, skirting your unit is huge to just avoid any of that wind chill underneath the underbelly. But yeah, we love to talk about, how we're warranted for full-time, and one of the very few manufacturers who do that. So, the 4-season slogan is it's kind of like the term genius these days. It's just so used. So
yeah, a little bit. It was always fun to try to sail around the 4-season thing. Like, no, And let me tell you why. You know.
Yeah. And you want to be super transparent with customers, but then you're worried about the next guy down the road. You know, they come to you and they're like, hey, you know, my cousin told me, you know, I needed to buy a Four Seasons camper. Or I read on a forum somewhere that I need to buy a Four Seasons camper, and you guys are truly honest and transparent with them. And then, you know, they leave the dealership, they go down the road, and the next guy's like, yeah, hell, yeah, everything out here,
No,
Four Seasons,
no.
100%. You know, so yeah, transparency, figuring out what, you know, what is the consumer wanting to use it for, and then how can we best get you the information, and yeah, talk to you about the product, how the product is insulated, what's going on in our underbelly, you know, what our dump valves are doing in our underbelly, and yeah, let's make sure that we're giving you the correct information and the right steps to make sure that you don't have any issues down the road. No matter how you're trying to use it, we'll figure it out.
Absolutely. And if RVing full-time warranty for that, that's cool. I don't know how many entry levels do that, to be honest with you. No one. Grand Design.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Real quick. So this is a good one. What are the key features that set Transcend apart from competitors within the same price range? Again, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is Jayco with a 2-year warranty. You know, that's the only other thing that I can think of. But like, I never sold Transcend. So what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, our warranties are a step and be above any other manufacturer out there. That's going to just in itself set us apart. But even when you dive down into the construction, you know, again, depending on what subsegment you're talking about, we don't necessarily like to dive into other brands or like talk competitiveness. We just talk about the cool things and the great things that we do. Other manufacturers like to try to dog us, and that's just not our gameplay. We just talk about the great things that we do. But you know, we talked about the Mylar tape, right? Mylar tape versus what, you know, some people might use in a butyl tape. Our Mylar tape doesn't expand and contract, so you'll never see it oozing out from different seams. You'll never have to scrape it off or anything like that. And once it's stuck, it is on there for good. So Mylar tape. We also run a quad seal on Transcend. We didn't even talk about that. The quad seal on Transcend is pretty amazing. So we're doing 4 different types of seals on Transcend. And I wish I had a sample with me. If I would have thought about it, I would have brought it. But say where 2 walls come together, where those 2 are tape.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, we're running 4 different seals. So where a wall comes together, we're running Mylar tape. And then because we have a corrugated wall, we're going to run foam gasket tape along that corrugation. So it corrugates with the wall. We're going to run it on the inside. We're going to run it on the outside of the aluminum. And then we're also going to finish off with a Beta seal, which, to be honest with you, the Beta seal is really just for looks. That unit is sealed up. The cool part about it, customers or people will talk about the seal test that they do, right? They take the entry door off, they put an entry door on there with a big hole in it, and they pressurize the whole unit, and then they run soapy water around all their seams, and wherever that soapy water is bubbling is a key sign that they have a seal void there, right? We do that pressurized system on Transcend before we ever lay a Beta seal on it, and that's a really cool fact that we know that our units are sealed up prior to ever using any sort of sealant. So that our seals different. Heated and enclosed underbellies when it comes to Transcend One. Our Mylar tape that we use. We have thicker aluminum on the Transcend, not only on the front, but obviously on our sides. We're using a 0.30. Just for everyone's information, the industry standard is a 0.024. When it comes to aluminum, the bigger the number, the thicker the gauge actually. I know some things gauge-wise, when it goes up, it actually gets smaller. It's not the case with aluminum. Yeah, the company, the buying experience is completely different when it comes to Grand Design. I like to talk about that because we have more owners rallies around the country than any other brand or manufacturer out there. And when you buy a Grand Design, you truly do feel like you become part of the family with other customers, but also within the manufacturer. We're one of those crazy manufacturers that actually enjoy getting feedback and talking with with the people who buy our products. So, yeah.
You have a very large community. Everyone that buys a Grand Design typically buys another one. It's kind of like that cult following. You know, Jayco has a cult following. Even Keystone, Montana has a cult following, and that people just stay within it. I haven't
had to
seen
get used to
anybody.
it.
Huh?
I had to get used to it. The first show I worked, I've never had this before, but I was there Thursday to Saturday, and I think I had 6 customers come to the show, not interested they had one, they're happy with it, right? But they came to the show just to talk to a representative from Grand Design and tell them both the pros and the cons and where they thought we could be better and the amazing things that they loved about it and the community that they joined and all the. I had to get used to it. So it was the first time that I've ever experienced that, and it was yeah, I think it showed me that I was, that this is different. That we are from Northern Indiana. We're in Middlebury, Indiana. But it's the way I explain it is there's the RV industry and then there's Grand Design, and they're different. It's a different experience. It's a different, so yeah, something I had to get used to.
Yeah, you can feel the difference when you walk into one. And every time I walked into one when I was selling, I was like, God, man, it'd be sweet to sell these because it'd be an easier sell, in my opinion. I didn't know a whole lot about the product. But when you walk in, you can feel a difference. You can hear a difference. That's one thing that I always challenge people, especially in the I guess entry level segment, as you call it. You walk into a trailer, touch and feel, listen, touch and feel, listen. You can feel it, you can hear it, all those things. When you're walking through, you can hear the highway. If you can hear the highway, you walk into something else. If you can still hear the highway or whatever, there's little things to look for when you're doing that. Last question, Brandon. You've been doing great. I love it. Why wouldn't you buy one?
Why wouldn't I buy a Grand Design?
Why wouldn't somebody buy a Grand Design Transcend?
If they didn't go camping?
Straight up. That's a good answer.
If you go camping, you should come over and buy a Grand Design.
You should at least check one out. They're wonderful inside. They're very modern feel. They do great with the floor plans, as you see today. Those are not super common. The floor plan itself, the idea, yes, but like the configuration within that floor plan, Grand Design does a wonderful job at.
Yeah, and that was just scratching the surface on a few floor plans that we offer in each of those subsegments. Please know that is not the full offering, and obviously go to granddesignrv.com and check out the full offering, or your local store. Give them a phone call. So
awesome. Anything else you want to tell everybody?
That's all I have. I hope I did a good job. Again, first podcast here. I get nervous, I feel like Talladega Nights, what do I do with my hands? Where do I put them? So hopefully I did an okay job. And anything you guys need from me, anything that any of the Bishop's customers need from me, man, I'm an open book. I know you have my cell phone, Jake. I always say, please give it out. I don't mind. Obviously, if it's 7 or 8 o'clock at night here in Indiana, just know I will answer, but I will be getting a death stare from my gorgeous wife. So know that I might try to make it pretty quick. But yeah, open book. Anything you guys need, man, that's what we're here for. Just let us know.
All right. Brandon Pummel, thank you so much for your time today. This is everything you need to know about a 2025 Grand Design Transcend, Transcend One, Transcend Explore. He killed it today. And if you need any more questions, give us a holler, put it in the comments, and we'll get him back on the show because we're going to do Grand Design and Imagine as well.
Imagine. We still got Imagine to go. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll get together and figure that out. And stay tuned for more from the RV Voice.
Awesome, Jake.
But all right.
I appreciate it. Do you have like a sign-off slogan?
That's it, buddy.
That's it? It's like the eyebrow?
Stay tuned for more from the RV Voice.
I love it. All right, dude.